So I started channeling 20 years ago. It's crazy when I think that it's been 20 years. And probably about 8 or 9 months after I started channeling, I started getting information from this group called the Pleiadian Collective. And they're ninth dimensional beings. They do not have physical form. They are beings of light. And rather incarnating to a planetary body, they actually align with a stellar body. So they align with Alcyon, the central sun in the Pleiades system. And they are a little different than the other beings that I work with, because I actually do work with a lot of different beings. I work with beings from Lyra, from Sirius, Zetas, Arcturans. So I do work with a number of beings, but the Pleiadians always come through first and foremost. And sometimes these other beings will show up, and they may show up today, and they will blend their energy with the Pleiadians. So you might notice that the energy shifts a little bit. It's because these beings have come in, and they always take point because it's somewhat easier for them to receive for you to receive the information from the Pleiadians. They have such heart-based energy. And they're also a little different because they work with tone and sound. So that's why their dialect is different than my own. It's not any one particular dialect, it's just tones and sounds that resonate with you at a cellular level. So over the course of the next several days, they'll continue working with you. And in addition to getting the information, it's as if you're getting a healing as well. So you want to make sure you drink plenty of water, just to help move the energy through the body.
Yes, hello, dear. This is the Ninth Dimensional Pleiadian Collective, and it is a pleasure and an honor to have the opportunity to connect with you all.
Is because you're going through a phase right now where it is vital and in your development that you become more and more aware of the subtle frequencies around you. And as you become better able to perceive these subtle frequencies, it makes life a lot easier for you, because you are learning how to operate more from a state of being, which will then guide you to your doing state. And if you're not conscious of the subtle frequencies, you can often miss those breadcrumbs that the universe is providing you to take steps in a divinely guided way to get you on your path of higher service. Also know that we are working with all of you energetically, and you can connect with us at any time. You don't need Wendy. All you have to do is put yourself in your heart center. Think of something that makes you smile. Ask for assistance, and we will do our best to put the information in your field until you get it or you no longer want it. We are helping you to elevate your frequency. The one thing that we always do anytime that we work with you, we work with harmonics at the very beginning in our opening greeting, and we actually do an attunement with you. We don't really talk about this a lot, but we help you to alter your vibrational field and help you to realign anything that may be misaligned or not in alignment with your true heart's desires. So your own guides are here feeding us information and what you need. We will say there are no silly questions. So just know that your curiosity, your fearlessness is appreciated by many. So we'll go ahead and dive in and see where you'd like to begin. How may we best be of service to you today?
Ever wonder if there's intelligent life elsewhere in the universe? Well, I have. I've been wondering since I was a kid. My name is Reuben Langdon, and on March 29th, 2007, in the middle of the day, I saw a number of strange objects in the sky. Coincidentally, I was working on the film Avatar at the time, playing an alien. And ever since then, I've been on a quest to find out if aliens really do exist, and if so, are they here with us? If beings of higher intelligence are here, what is their purpose? Why don't they make themselves more known? Why the secrecy? I've asked these questions to many experts, yet each seems to have a different theory. So I thought to myself, why not ask the aliens directly? So that's what I set out to do. Well, sort of.
So Wendy, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And can you tell me, and tell us, I guess everybody who's watching, first of all, how did you get into the channeling process, and how did you come into contact with the beings known as the Pleiadians?
Oh gosh. Okay. So I think a couple different things there. So it was around 1994, and I started having some visions, and I didn't really know what they were. They weren't the happiest of visions, but I wasn't frightened by them. And so I started doing some research for that to see if it was past life related, because that was what my instinct was. And so as I started that research to find out more about past lives, I came across channeling, and I didn't know what it was. I didn't know anybody who did it, but I just knew it was something that I was supposed to be doing. And so
when you came across it, as you saw somebody else doing that?
No, I came across it in books.
Oh, okay.
And, and there wasn't a lot of channel material out there at the time. There was the Seth material, and Sanaya Roman had some books out, but really there wasn't a whole lot. And it was very familiar, and I just knew it was something I was supposed to do. So I found some books, and I started doing some of the meditation exercises and the visualization exercises. And I was trying to channel verbally, but it wasn't really happening for me. I was having really visceral experiences, like my eyes would flutter in water and my hands would tingle, but I couldn't form the words. I couldn't get the words out. And so I'd put it aside, and then I'd come back to it. And in the interim, I did a lot of work on myself. I studied meditation and did a lot of inner work, and then I'd come back to it periodically, and I'd have kind of the same experience. And then one day I knew I was supposed to sit down with a pen and paper.
Okay.
And I started doing automatic writing.
Excellent.
And, that I did, well, for the first 2 years, I wrote down every single question and every answer. And about 9 months or so into it, it was becoming very cumbersome to write. And so I put down the pen and then just started to channel verbally, because I was hearing it well before I was able to write it. And I still use automatic writing today because it's much easier for me to remember the information. It's a bit like a lucid dream for me, so at least I have the written notes and I can go back to it. But about 9 months in, that's when the Pleiadians showed up. And they were waiting for me to channel verbally because they work with tone and sound.
Okay.
And a lot of people will ask me where I'm from when they hear the Pleiadians. Especially at the beginning, they sounded a bit more British. And then they went to they started working with new tones, and then it sounded a bit more Australian. And it's not any one dialect.
Right.
It's just tones and sounds that resonate with you at a cellular level. And it was really interesting for me, because when they started channeling and working with the new tones, it was using all different kinds of muscles.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, can we tone it back just a bit?
Right.
Tone it, no pun intended. But it really affects us vibrationally, and I could tell that there was a big difference. So we get a healing when we work with them. Not only do we receive the information, but the tones and sounds help to alter the cellular structure.
Okay.
And create more balance and harmony in the body. And how did I first meet them? I think I've been working with them all along.
Okay.
And I know that there is an aspect of me that is part of the collective. There are about 2,500 beings in the group, and there is an aspect of me that is a part of that, and they're in the ninth dimension, and they don't have physical form. They're beings of light, and they align with Alcyon, which is the central sun in the Pleiades star system. And, because they don't have physical bodies, they don't incarnate, but they align with a purpose or a function. And, they're here to help us with records and information and to kind of oversee what we're doing to help us along the way so that we can start taking ownership and guardianship of the planet. And there's another role that we're about to step into at the galactic level.
Well, so you mentioned earlier that you formulated questions and answers. Were the questions also being channeled?
No, there were things that I wanted to know about,
gotcha.
Problems I was having in my life. And, I think early on everybody has the same couple questions, tell me about love, tell me about money, tell me about career.
Right.
And, then it evolves from there. But they started helping me with my own stuff. And that's kind of like the carrot to get us to keep channeling. And that's also one of the hardest things, I think, for people. What do I want to know about? We've forgotten how to formulate questions. We've forgotten how to be curious, how to ask, because we're so conditioned just to kind of go along, kind of mindlessly thinking our way through our day.
Yeah.
So that's a big step in working with them, is formulating your questions, because if you don't ask, you don't get.
Right.
And it's kind of one of those tricky things. It's like, well, I don't know what I don't know until I know it.
Right. Yeah.
So where do I want to start?
Yeah.
What questions do I want to ask and what do I want to know more about? Especially when you get to the more complex questions, the bigger universal questions, because that can't be revealed until you're ready for it. And once you formulate the question, that's kind of their signal that you're ready, and they can give more information.
Excellent. Well, that's what we want to get into today. We have lots of questions about the universal history and story. So, right quick before we introduce the Pleiadians, have you had any physical contact in the light sense? I mean, have you seen these lights? Have you had experiences in that level?
With them, my strength is as a clairsentient, so I feel a lot of things in my body. I occasionally will see things as a clairvoyant, like literally seeing lights and auric fields and that kind of thing. More of what I see in the clairvoyant sense is with my inner eye.
Okay, so like eyes closed and just...
Yeah, what I would see in my mind's eye.
Okay.
So when I do see them, they're usually blue. Blue light. Sometimes they have geometric forms, sometimes triangles.
And so, let me clarify. So you can see the geometric forms and the lights, but you feel almost like a human presence or something like that?
I feel the frequency.
Okay.
And yeah, you could say it's like a human presence. It's like, let's see, how can I...
Like if, like I know my cameraman here is standing here. Is that
yes, so you know what his energy feels like.
Right.
And, you wouldn't necessarily have to turn around just to know that person is standing behind you. And they often describe it as like hearing somebody's footsteps coming down the hall. After a while, once you begin to know what that person's energy is like, what their patterns are like, you know who it is by the sound of the footsteps.
Interesting.
What their gait's like. So it's kind of the same thing with them. I know it's them when they show up. Sometimes they show up with other people, and I can feel them, but I know that they've brought other people along because the frequency's different. And sometimes they're making an introduction, so they're beings that I haven't worked with before.
And so when we say people, we're talking about other light beings.
Sometimes they're light beings, sometimes they're physicals, sometimes they're fifth dimensional, sixth dimensional, seventh dimensional, and they do have bodies. They're not as dense as ours, but they do have physical form.
Okay.
And I do work with a variety of beings. The Sirians that I work with, they're physicals.
Okay.
They're fifth dimensional. But I don't necessarily work with them in a conscious way where they're standing physically in front of me. It's more telepathic communication that I have with them, at least in my waking hours.
And have you had physical contact then with other beings, non-light beings?
Yes.
Bodies have? Okay.
Yes. So,
Syrians or?
No, different beings. Some of them are some of them are insectoids.
Oh, interesting.
And then the Zetas as well. And those are my physical experiences, and another group who I just recently had an introduction to. I don't have all the bits and pieces as to who they are exactly, but they're kind of a cross between the insectoids and what we would traditionally call the greys. They look different, and it's not the same species, but they've shown up for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you find once you've opened yourself up to, let's say, this channeling experience back in the 90s, was it 94 you said?
When I started, it was in 94, and I had kind of my breakthrough in 95.
Do you think that has opened the door to other being experiences, or do you think we're all getting these experiences and we're just not tuned into it?
Well, both.
Okay.
I think we're all connected to our guides. We've got 2 guides that are with us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, who are helping us, and then we've got our celestial friends. Everybody.
Oh, okay.
And I laugh because people think that channeling is just something that a few people do, but everybody does it. And to me, it's like being an interpreter. I recognize frequency and I translate it into a recognizable form, whether that's writing or whether it's speaking. But I think any form of creative expression can be a form of channeling. And my own experiences with beings, I think, started much younger. I think it started in childhood.
Okay.
But I didn't really have an awareness, a conscious awareness of that until I started opening up in my early 20s. And I started having some past life experiences, and at the time I didn't really understand that's what was going on. I was accessing some of that information. So once I made conscious contact, then some of the things that had happened earlier in my life made a lot more sense. I understood, oh, that's what that was.
I see. So you think if we all could tap into this, then this channeling experience or our guides, humanity would be a little less hectic or frantic, maybe.
I think so.
Or more, because now there's so much more out there that we're not, aware of. How about in your life? I'm sure this could go on into a much deeper conversation, which hopefully we can have later. But quickly, by opening yourself up to this channeling experiences, has it been a positive influence in your life?
Oh,
or?
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah. I can't imagine not doing it. To me, it's normal.
Gotcha.
And I always say it's going to be the new normal.
Sure.
Because it's just expanding the connection that's already there. We're never disconnected from anyone or anything, so it's just kind of opening up to what's already around us and using what's available to us, the tools. And I think the guides are going to get into it. I'm already hearing they are, but part of it's understanding why we're here in 3D, the purpose of 3D, the playground. And it's opening back up to other potentials and other games that we can also participate in.
Excellent. Well, with that said, can we introduce the Pleiadians?
Sure.
And can we start asking some of those questions?
Sure.
Excellent.